Okay. Hello, my bitches, bastards, and domesticated cryptids. There we go. I finally got back to the proper introduction. Finally. It has been a long time since I discussed why I'm actually working on the story that I'm working on. And I actually have a little bit of time to really go into it. So please, take a seat. You grab, a coffee or a bourbon. I won't judge. But I finally get to talk about my story. And this is one of my favorite questions. It's a double-edged sword. When people ask me this, I almost feel like I need to kind of be like, are you sure? Because I'm not gonna shut up. I'm gonna really go in. So you have to be really sure that you want to hear it. And so I'm always excited when people ask me what inspired me to start writing Poseidon's Daughters. So, for those of you that don't know, in 2019, I had a hysterectomy. As it turns out, for no good reason. The worst of it, though, was that afterwards, so in the hospital, they give you lots of, I had really good drugs. That was probably the only upside to it. I had lots of good drugs. But no one who listened to my concerns, but again, lots of good drugs. So, less than 2 weeks later, I was back in the hospital for multiple blood clots. I had bilateral pulmonary embolisms. I had pulmonary effusion and pulmonary infarction in my left lung. So, not a good situation. But while I was there, because I was still recovering from a hysterectomy and I still felt like shit and extra shit because of the, my lungs being cranky. Not only were they giving me good drugs, but my anxiety was super through the roof. So they were also giving me stuff to help me sleep and everything else. Cause I felt like shit and I couldn't sleep when I hurt. So I was getting painkillers and stuff to make me sleep, and I was there just alone with my thoughts basically, and the crappy hospital TV and the punishment chicken salad, and kind of going through this whole what am I doing with my life? What does it all mean? What am I doing? What's the point of it all? What am I supposed to be? Right, this whole existential crisis of what is it all for and what does it all mean? In addition to just the general low simmering anxiety. And, I had always thought about going back to writing on and off. I've never been published, but I always enjoyed it and I was always good at it. And I just didn't know, though, if I could or if I should. Should I put my time into that? And, so I'm laying there in a hospital bed. It was quite a comfy bed, I will give it that. They do have really nice beds at this hospital. And I'm sitting there and it's the 3 a.m. or some shit, and I have my just looking out the window because I'm bored as fuck, and looking at all you can see downtown, well not the medical center and all this stuff, and just sitting there what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And I just have this fucking, I don't know, it sounds so dumb to say it out loud. When I do, I'm just I know it sounds weird because I wasn't asleep and I wasn't hallucinating, but I just, I kind of always be well, I guess I can blame it on the drugs, but whatever. I had this whatever you want to call it, vision or something. Anyway, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. And when I'd been thinking about writing again, I had started going through old notebooks, looking at stories and looking at things to write. And none of them really resonated, but I was I can make something work from this, you know? And I have like this vision. And I'm sitting like on a panel at a convention. And, you know, I just insert really cool whatever convention you enjoy here. Comic-Con, Comic-Palooza, whatever. But I was like on a panel. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. And sitting with me on this panel was Henry Rollins, which was just awesome, and Jason Momoa. And we were all there to discuss this like project we had finished or worked on or were working on, based on a book I wrote that at the time I had no fucking clue what it was, where it came from, because this was nothing like that I'd ever even considered writing ever. And if you ever looked at anything like in my scrap piles of notebooks and like my graveyard of old like documents, this is like nothing I ever would have even considered or chosen. It was pretty wild. So I kind of leaned into that of like, what are they saying? What are they talking about? What did they do? And it progressed from there. So from me sitting in a hospital room to that year, NaNoWriMo for 2019, I was finally like, okay, I'm gonna write this book, this story, this is what I'm gonna write. And so I started. And it was really wild. It's wild to watch it come together as far as the story goes. When I look at where it all started, do I believe it's going to end up that way? Like in that vision? Yes, 100%. I do. And I don't care if it was a fever dream or, you know, like a Benadryl dream, whatever. I don't care. I was awake and I saw this, and like I say, I don't even know where the story came from, but I love it. I'm glad I got it. So it's been a way for me to work through a lot of things and celebrate a lot of things within myself that maybe other people won't. And to kind of, it's almost like an appreciation or like a love story for all of, honestly, what could be seen as the quirky or like the ugly or weird parts of me. So whatever happens with it, it's going to be amazing, and I will always be grateful I got it.